And welcome to the third season of Upon Further Review. We are doing this the year 2020 style, virtual Zoom meeting, however you want to describe it. This is our annual Butler County area high school football show where we talk about games from the previous week, of course, in this first edition, games of this coming week. And I am, our sponsor, I should say, is this year is Troy Allen Chevrolet Buick GMC. And I am joined virtually by sports writer Mike Kilroy. Wave to the nice people, Mike. There we go. And sports writer.
Disregard the junk.
Derek Pyda, our other sports writer. Derek, wave to the nice people. There you go. All right. And
I can't see Derek.
You can't see Derek.
I cannot see Derek.
That's a good thing for you, Mike.
Well, Derek looks like he's half asleep, so maybe it's a good thing that you don't see him right now. Well, let's get right into our first topic of the season. I guess the biggest off-season topic this year was Butler High School football moving on to District 10, leaving the WPIAL for the next 2 seasons minimum. Mike, we'll go to you here first. What are your thoughts on Butler's move to the district north of us?
Well, it was a move that had to be made because if they stayed in the section they were in the WPIAL, they were going to continue to see their numbers drop. They were going to continue to get beat routinely every week. So they had to make this move to try to reset the program, to try to get more interest. And we've already seen they've had more interest in the program. It doesn't start off easy for them, though. They got Cathedral prep the first week. But I think after that, things are going to get easier. You're going to see them making some progress. You're going to see them. This move is going to be good in the long run for them. This is a good reset for them.
Yeah, Derek, you look at Butler's roster. They I think they had 28 players maybe healthy toward the end of last season. They're going into this season with 56 players. That's literally twice as many. So it's definitely has had a positive impact, at least early here.
Right, and I looked at their roster that appeared in our tab today, and there's a lot of sophomores too, which is good. You got the seniors and the juniors, but you also want some younger players so they can kind of build around them, and by the time they're juniors and seniors, they'll have a more prominent role on the team. But I've always found intriguing the games that are between teams from different districts, and I know technically now Butler is a District 10 team, but basically they're a Whitfield team playing in District 10. So I'm anxious to see how their talent stacks up against the teams from District 10, because McDowell, Cathedral, Prep, Erie, they all bring athletes to the field. We know they're going to be athletic teams, and I am anxious to see what kind of strides Butler can make in that district against those teams, because that's their schedule. They're playing those 3 teams 3 times, right?
Yep.
Erie, McDowell, and Erie. So
that is correct. My thoughts on this, of course, I cover Butler on a regular basis, is I really think it may be a little bit too much drama to say it saved the program, but it came pretty close to that. Butler's numbers were dwindling, playing the NAs and the Pine Richlands and Central Catholics of the world. For the state of the Butler program right now is just not a healthy situation. Now they're playing, obviously, Mike, as you alluded to, not an easy schedule, drawing a state power in Cathedral Prep right off the bat. But it's a good move, I think, down the road. It's already had some positive impact, and we'll see how it goes in terms of wins and losses.
I don't think it's hyperbole to say that it saved the program. I think it definitely saved the program. Their choices were get out of the WPIAL, get into an easier schedule, or disband for a while and rebuild. So at least they're still playing.
Very true. Let's move on to our second topic, and that is I'm going to have each one of us pick one local team that we're particularly excited about this year and give the reasons why. Mike, we'll start with you. Who's your area team that you're most excited about, and what's your reasons for it?
Well, I get to see them week 1, Montauk. I think Montauk is going to be a very intriguing team. Last year they took some lumps. They had a little bit of a void. They lost a bunch of seniors. They had a bunch of juniors. I think it took them a while to kind of figure out what they were, their identity. Plus, they had a slew of injuries. They lost 3 guys in the first offensive play of the season. You can't do that with the size of Montauk. So, but I think this year they're a veteran group. They put in a lot of work this offseason. If there was one silver lining in this COVID was they hit the weight room hard, because it's really the only thing they could really do this offseason. So they're in great shape. They're healthy again. I think Montauk is going to be a surprise team. I don't think a lot of people have Montauk as one of the top teams in District 9, but I think they're going to be one of the top teams in District 9 in their class. I think they're going to have a great season.
I'm going to jump in here and give my team, just because my team is the team that happens to be playing Montauk this first week. Carn City, the Gremlins, coming off a bit of a bounce back season for them. They won 8 games, got to the District 10 finals. They lost to Ridgeway last year in a tight ball game. This year, they returned like 8 starters on defense. I think another 7 on offense. I didn't think, frankly, in the offseason they had that many kids coming back. They've got some potential game-breaking players, and Luke Gehring at fullback and linebacker, Nate Waltman at linebacker, Caden Shear all over the field, defensive back, wide receiver, special teams, return guy. So I look for the Gremlins to even break through further this year, because talk to them at their preseason camp. That's still a very hungry team. They're not happy with 8 wins. They're not happy with losing the D9 finals. That's a team that wants to go another step 2, 3 farther. So I'm looking.
Tell you what,
seeing them.
they play Montauk. Those 2 teams play twice. Those are going to be 2 great games.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Yep,
It's
going to be
gonna
great.
fun. Derek, your team this year. Who are you excited about and why?
I'm looking at Seneca Valley, and it's a little bit of a different dynamic this year, because I know the playoff situation in every district is fluid right now. Nobody's exactly sure how it's going to work. But at last word, Seneca Valley's conference is going to send 4 teams to the postseason as opposed to 6 as in years past.
Yep.
So basically, it's an 8-team conference. So basically, Seneca Valley has to finish in the top half of the Quad North to make the playoffs. I think they can do that. A lot of it's going to depend on keeping Ethan West healthy. He's a running back, wide receiver on offense, and a linebacker on defense, stalwart on both sides of the ball. And every time he touched the ball last year, he had the ability. He was capable of making something really big happen. And last year he missed the last 2.5 games with injury, missed their playoff game, which was a loss to Mount Lebanon. This year, if he stays healthy, he's going to take a lot of pressure off of Dustin Horn, who is a first-year starting quarterback. But Ron Butchley, the head coach, told me that Horn is an athletic kid, can throw and run, which obviously opens things up on offense. And another thing that's going to help Horn is the fact that he's got a very veteran receiving corps, because Ethan West can come out of the backfield. He can line up in the slot. They also have Connor Lysick back, Marciano McCowan at H-back, and James Sprintz at wide receiver. So he's got a lot of experience around him. As long as he takes the strides that he needs to take, that is Horn at quarterback, I believe Seneca Valley can make the playoffs, and once they get there, we'll see.
All right. Well, you're talking playoffs. It's a perfect segue into our next topic, and that is our over/under. I think in years past, we've done a couple of these every week. This year, we're going to hone in on one over/under per week. And I've got a good one for you guys. Since this being the first week of the regular season, number of area teams to make the playoffs this year. My over/under for that is 5. Derek, I'm going to throw it back to you. Over or under 5 Butler County area teams making the playoffs?
Let me ask you this. Do you mean 5.5?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, correct. My mistake. Over under. No, I'm going to say over and under 4.5.
4.5.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go. If it's 4.5, I'm going to go over. I know that right now. I mean, there's talk in District 9 of only having a championship game, which would mean 2 teams in each class making the championship game, and that's it. But I think I'm high on Mars. I'm high on Knoch. I think it could be the 2 teams from their conference that make the Whitfield playoffs in that Class 4A. Seneca Valley, North Catholic, and I'm making a prediction right now. Karn City or Montauk, one of those teams will make it. I think the other one's going to miss out, but I could see Ridgeway making it. I think the D9 championship game, if the postseason's just a championship game, I can see Ridgeway playing either Karn City or Montauk.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot here. What if it was 5.5? Where would you pick me?
Under.
Derek, under. Okay,
Mike.
You're saying 5.
I say 5.
You're saying 5.
Okay, you're saying 5. Okay, Mike, I'm going to say it 4.5. Over or under. Number of Butler County teams make the playoffs.
This is tough because, like Derek said, we don't
tough.
know what the playoffs are going to look like.
Yep.
We don't even know if we're going to have a playoff. To be frank, to be honest, with such an uncertainty, this whole house of cards could collapse in week 4, and then we're sitting here, not doing a show and wondering what to do next. But
this is assuming
everything goes normal.
Right.
I'm still going to go under because I don't think, with the season shortened, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of a big playoff field. So I'm going to go 4. I think 4 teams are going to make it. So I'm going to go under.
My pick is over at 4.5, but I'm with Derek, barely over. I can see 5 teams making it. I can see 1 or 2 teams getting nosed out, and that could blow up because, like as you mentioned, Mike, we're not sure how they're going to handle the things in District 10 yet exactly, and that affects obviously 2 of our teams. So, but my gut feeling says 5 teams get in, so I'm going to go over there. We move into the prediction segment, since we have no games to review from last week. Obviously, we have 8 games to pick from here, and I'm going to start out with Mike. I'll throw it to you. Butler, we touched on this earlier. Butler at Erie Cathedral Prep. Cathedral Prep obviously is a state power. Butler's a rebuilding team. How do you see this one?
Well, it's not really fair for Butler. They move into a new district to try to get a little bit of an easier sledding, and they get Cathedral Prep week 1. It's going to be kind of a flashback for them, I think. So I don't think you can really gauge Butler from this week. I think Cathedral Prep's going to win handily, 42-7. But I think, again, like I said, in the long run, I think Butler's going to be better in this region, in this district. It's just not going to show this week.
Derek, Butler Prep, what's your call?
Well, it's Butler with the long road trip. In a few weeks, Prep will be coming down here. But this week 1, I like Prep too. I like it to be a little bit closer, 34-14. But as Mike said, this is a really tough draw right off the bat. First game in District 10 for Butler. They're making the long road trip, and I like the Ramblers to win by 20. I got 34-14.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a chuckle earlier. Earlier this week actually with Eric Christie, the Butler coach, when I asked him about prep scrimmage, and they scrimmaged North Allegheny last week, and he said they scrimmage them on even terms. This is just like playing NA. So I asked him, so what's the purpose in leaving him to go up there? And he kind of laughed about that, but I agree. Erie Cathedral Prep's a little bit too much. I'm picking Prep 42-14 would be my score there. Derek, we'll start you on this next game. We got Highlands coming to Knoch. How do you see this one?
Well, Highlands brings back a really good quarterback in Chandler Timmons, and he passed for almost 1,400 yards last year. So, obviously, with Knoch's offense, you know that they're going to want to ground it out anyway. But in this game, grounding it out on with that running game, it's going to keep Chandler Timmons on the sidelines, which is exactly what they want. The game's on the grass at Knoch. I like Knoch, as I said before. If there are only 2 teams from Mars and Knoch's conference to make the playoffs, I like the Planets and the Knights to be those 2 teams, and I like Knoch to get off to a good start. I got them winning by 10 here, 27-17 over Highlands.
Mike, the Golden Rams and the Knights. What's your call?
It's just too many unknowns for Knoch. A couple years ago, remember when they had a big turnover on offense? With that offense, they run the triple option. It takes a while for them to get used to it. I think they're going to start off a little bit slow, and I just like Highlands in this one, 21-20. It's going to be a close game, but I think Knoch's inexperience is going to come back to haunt them. I think in the long run they're going to be good, but I think, again, they're going to get out of the gate a little bit slow this year. It's going to start with Highlands.
Well, I partially agree with you in the fact that it's going to be a close game. I also have it as a 1-point game, actually, but I have it in Knoch's favor. I think Knoch's skilled kids are definitely young. Their offensive line, though, is very experienced, and they're also strong on defense, which I think can contain Highland skilled people. So I'm picking Knoch in a real slugfest. 14-13 is my score for the Knights.
A slobber knocker.
A slobber knocker. First slobber knocker of the year.
First slobber knocker of the year.
Yeah. All right, Mike, throw this to you on this next one. A couple of old rivals getting together. Hampton travels to Mars. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty high on Mars too, like Derek Pyda is. I think they're going to bounce back. I know last year they had a little bit of an uneven year. I like their quarterback situation a lot better this year, and of course they still have Teddy Ruffner. When you have Teddy Ruffner running the ball, I think you're going to have a good shot to win every week. So I have Mars winning 35-14 this week. I think they're going to win handily.
Where's your Teddy Ruffner doll, by the way? I thought you were going to have
I don't
a
have
Teddy
it.
Ruffner
I
doll
don't have it.
You don't have it yet?
Week.
Can we see it in coming weeks? All right.
Next week. A little bit of preview for next week. I have a Teddy Ruffner doll to show everybody.
All right. Derek, Hampton, Mars. What's your call?
I like Mars in this one. I think a big key for them is we know what Ruffner brings to the table, but they're also going to have Quinn Fuller at quarterback this year. And he didn't begin the season last year as a starter, but he came in and ended up starting, I think it was like 6 or 7 games. And the experience that he got as a sophomore last year is just going to add to that offense. And the more threat they are to pass the ball is going to open up things even more for Teddy. And last year, things weren't open up much for him at all, and he ran for 1,900 yards. So I like Mars to get off to a really good start to the season and beat their backyard rival, the Talbots, by a score of 24-10.
Yeah, that's right. What Derek said. That's exactly my take. Good job, Derek.
There you go. I remember Mars Hampton from last year. You guys remember this story. They closed the season at Hampton last year. Mars beat them 27-7. Hampton's lone score being they let the physically challenged player score that touchdown late in the game. Remember that story at the end of last year's season finale. This year, I agree with you guys. Mars wins handily. I think Rutledge's too much. Mars' offense is too much. Hampton's still trying to build something down there. 34-14 is my score for the Planets. Mike, we'll start with you. Deer Lakes at Freeport. Kind of some rough news out of Freeport. Garrett King, their starting quarterback, diagnosed with testicular cancer. He's got to have surgery this week. They're going with a young sophomore in his place. Really throws an entirely different twist on this game. How do you see Deer Lakes Freeport?
Well, I would love to pick Freeport, and I think Freeport's going to make this close because of the emotion of this game. They want to go out and win this game for Garrett King. They want to go out and kind of be inspired by him. But there again, kind of like Knoch, there's too many uncertainties with Freeport. It's hard to pick them even at home against Deer Lakes. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Freeport's really going to play, like I said, impassioned because of the situation with their quarterback. But I still think Deer Lakes going to come out on top, 28-26.
Okay, but Derek, what's your call on Deer Lakes Freeport?
I want to say, first of all, I'll be covering this game Friday night.
Yes, you will.
This is my 19th fall at the Eagle, my first time covering Freeport. So I'm excited to get down there.
Amazing.
At the new stadium. Well, it's not
right.
new. It's like 4 or 5 years old. But the first
New
time
for you.
Yeah, new for me.
They have great chairs in the press box if you're allowed in there. Great chairs.
I'll find my way in.
They used to feed you there too. No, I don't know if they're going to feed people this year, but they used to feed you. They fed you pretty good there. Now this year, I don't know.
This year.
Yeah,
all bets are off this year.
Freeport has started the last 2 seasons 0-3. We talked the last 2 seasons about that hole they dug themselves, and neither time were they able to dig themselves out and get to the playoffs. This year, I realize they got a lot of young guys, but as Mike alluded to, and I know he's picking Deer Lakes, but emotion is going to be part of this game, and I think at least for 1 week, playing at home, I think it's going to be enough to get them to beat Deer Lakes this week. Deer Lakes, they're it's not like they're a great program. They're a great season for Deer Lakes is like 5 or 6 wins. You guys know that. I'd like Freeport to win this one 28-13.
Yeah, I think this is the first time in a few years with the new schedule. Freeport's schedule isn't heavily front loaded like it's been the last couple of years either. I think that's going to help them. As you guys touched upon, the emotion of this game is going to be huge for Freeport. I think it's going to carry them through, but Deer Lakes does have some good, high-profile, skilled kids back. They're going to keep it tight. But I picked the Yellow Jackets. 21-17 is my choice there. Derek, we'll go to you on this next game because I know North Catholic's one of the teams you pay particularly close attention to. North Catholic goes to Derry area. Very intriguing opener for both teams.
Well, 2 years ago, these two teams played possibly the most exciting game I ever covered, where North Catholic got up by, I think it was like 23, 24 points. Derry came back and won the game. Last year, North Catholic beat them, but this is going to be a different team just because Zach Rocco's not there, right? I mean, Zach Rocco threw for 6,000 yards in his career, 80 touchdowns. He's going to be replaced by either Carson Laconey, who is a Butler kid, or Joey Prentice. But I'm told by their head coach, Patrick O'Shea, that both kids are really athletic. They can throw a good ball. They're mobile. So whoever they stick a quarterback is going to be a playmaker. And the other one that doesn't play quarterback, doesn't start a quarterback, he's going to be moving into either a wide receiver or running back position. I like their defense. Their defense last year had a lot of young kids, and they took their lumps. Mike, you covered their playoff game against South Park last year where they just missed a bunch of tackles and gave up a ton of rushing yards.
I think that passes too.
Yeah. I think that experience is going to help this team because they have a lot of those defenders back. And Patrick O'Shea said that they're more focused on the fundamentals. The players are. They understand what they mean. They know what happens when they don't pay attention to them. I actually like North Catholic. I know this is on the road. It's a pretty long road trip for North Catholic, but I like them to win 27-7, pretty big.
All right, Mike, North Catholic Derry. To me, this is one of the more intriguing Week 1 matchups here.
Yeah, it is. Because all Week 1 matchups are kind of intriguing because you don't know a whole lot yet about the team, especially this year. This year is even more uncertain because of everything with the pandemic. You don't know what kind of work some of these guys put in on their own during the off season. So some teams might be ahead of others. But I like North Catholic in this one. I know they have to replace Rocco, but I think they can. I think they have the people there to spread the ball around a little bit more and not make it all about the quarterback position like they kind of have in the past. Rocco was, pretty much their offense. He ran the ball, he threw the ball.
Yep.
He kind of was. I think now they're going to be a little bit more dangerous because I think they're going to be a little bit more balanced, and they have some great athletes that maybe are going to come to the fore this year. So I see North Catholic winning big, 34-7 this week.
Wow. Yeah, I like a couple of Butler County products vying for quarterback this year at North Catholic. They're both they're both outstanding athletes. Whichever one doesn't get the job is going to be starting somewhere else on that offense, more than likely at another skill position. I like North Catholic too, but in a much closer game. I'm going with the Trojans. 27-20 is my choice. Mike, we'll go to you on this one because this involves a team you're very close with, the Slippery Rock Rockets. They are at home against Sharon, and it kind of a tough game to call in my view because these are two teams that have lost a lot from last year.
Yeah, both teams are kind of trying to replace some key guys. Slippery Rock lost a lot of key guys: Vito Pelosi, Nathan Hyatt, David Duffalo. I mean, Slippery Rock basically lost 97% of their offensive production last year. They do have some pieces back. They do have some young talent again ready to come up. I think Slippery Rock's going to be better than a lot of people think. I think this is going to be another slobber knocker, but I think Slippery Rock's going to come out on top of this one 17-14. I kind of like Slippery Rock. I just have a feeling about them this year that they're going to find a way to kind of fill those holes with a bunch of different guys, and they're going to be just as good as they were years past as far as moving the ball and putting points on the board.
Yeah, you and I seem to be coming close on some of these scores, but we're going with
different results.
Yeah. My score, actually, I'll jump in here and make my prediction. I have Sharon winning 17-13, very similar years, but with the other team winning. Sharon has lost the Wojtek, their quarterback from last year. Tremendous player. I'm not sure where he's playing in college. He's got to be somewhere.
You said this is a record.
Yeah. 3 outstanding wide receivers. They do have one standout back coming back this year. Both teams have lost a lot. It's a tough call, but Sharon always seems to give Slippery Rock fits. I think it's going to happen again this year. Close game, but as I said, 17-13 Sharon. Derek, what are your thoughts on this one?
Sharon's been a thorn in Slippery Rock's side for a long time. I'm not saying Slippery Rock's obviously beaten them, but it always seems to be if Sharon plays Slippery Rock and the Rockets win, it seems like it's a really tough game. And I know Sharon lost a lot, but they are 3-time defending District 10 champions, so there's that precedent. Those players know what's expected of them coming up, and I'm sure they're going to find some really good athletes to fill those holes. This is a tough opener for Slippery Rock, and I like a close game like you guys, but I like Sharon to win 16-14.
Okay, we come down to rivalry, the first game of a doubleheader between Carson City and Montauk this year. Montauk is hosting the game Friday night. Mike, I know that you're going to be covering this game, and I know you previewed Montauk, so I'm going to go right to you in this one. How do you see this rivalry shaking up in meeting number 1? Keeping in mind there will be a meeting number 2.
So far, I've been zigging when you guys have been zagging. I've been kind of picking teams, and you've been picking the 2. I think this might be another situation where I'm going to be off of my island because I'm picking Montauk in this one. I think this series is going to be this home and home series. I think the home team is going to win in each meeting. I think, and it's going to be 2 close games. So I see Montauk winning this one by a razor thin margin. I see this one being 24-23 Montauk. I think Montauk is going to win it on a 2-point conversion at the end of the game or something like that. It's going to be a wild game. Whenever these 2 teams plays, it's always a wild game. You can always throw the records out. This year, though, both teams are really good, so these games are going to have a lot of juice. These games always have juice, but this one's going to have a lot of juice. Opening day, all these players just ready to get out and play and get out of that pent-up aggression. It's going to be fun.
One thing I do like about this revamped schedule in this wild year of 2020 is the fact Coin City and Montauk get to play each other twice in a home and home. I think that's.
I wish they could play every week.
Yeah.
Play Derek, 9 times.
Derek,
best of 9.
Derek, what is your choice between the Gremlins and Warriors here?
Last year, Montauk, number 1, they had a small roster to start with, and then they were hit by injuries. I was reading Mike's preview. 3 guys got hurt on the first play of the season.
Offensive play of the season.
My God, this year they got better numbers, obviously, with their roster. They do have some playmakers back, including J.D. Desicino at running back. I actually I don't know how much home field advantage is going to come into play this year because there's going to be like 25 people in the stands, but I actually like you're not going to be on an island on this one. I like Montauk too, and a tight 23-21.
I will lay claim to the island on this pick. I'm going the other way. I'm going with Corn City because I think that the X factor in this game will be Corn City's defense. I expect that unit to be outstanding. They've got a lot of hard-nosed starters back to start with, and you add to that Micah Rupp, their outstanding freshman basketball player from last year. Now a sophomore, he's going to be a safety. From what I understand, he's a hard-hitting safety. He comes up, he can plug the run, he can cover the pass, and that defense was going to be strong to start with. I think Corn City's defense makes a statement. I see them winning 21-6 at Montauk Friday night. One game left, and Derek, we'll start with you on this one. Union AC Valley, the Falcon Knights, they're on the road. They travel to Brockway. Union ACV off a very successful 2019 season. How do you see their opener?
Well, Brockway was 2A last year. They were in that District 9 large school division, and they went 3-7. So now they're dropping down. And I would think up there that's probably a good thing. They're thinking, okay, we're dropping down. We're going to play schools that are smaller. And it may end up working out that way for Brockway. But I actually like in this game Union AC Valley. I do. They got a quarterback battle there too. Tanner Merwin's one of the kids battling for quarterback, but wherever he plays, whether it's quarterback, wide receiver, he's a playmaker wherever they stick him, and he's back. Caden Rainey's back. He was there. He led them in receptions last year. A lot of big plays downfield. They got him back. They got a lot of experience back on defense too, and I think that's going to come into play on Friday. Brockway might end up having a good year, but I don't think they get off to a good start. I like Union AC Valley to win this game 31-18.
Mike, what's your thoughts on the Falcon Knights against Brockway?
Yeah, I agree with Derek. Union has a lot of weapons back, and it really starts with Tanner Merwin on both sides of the ball. He's one of those rare athletes who is a weapon on defense. He can score on defense. He scored 3 touchdowns last year on defense. He's a ball hawk. If you throw the ball anywhere in the middle of the field, he's probably going to run and go get it. So he takes away a lot of teams' vertical passing game. So I think Tanner Merwin's going to be the difference in this game, no matter where he plays on offense and of course, on defense. So I see Union AC Valley getting off to a 1-0 start with a 30-20 win.
Yep, no island pick here. I'm on board with you guys on this one. I like Brad Dittman's team a lot. I think Union East Valley, they broke through last year. I think they're going to continue to break through this year. I like their team a lot, and I see them winning this game, an impressive road win. My score is 27-12 in favor of the Falcon Knights.
One thing I want to point out here,
Yes.
just real quick. Last year, Scoop was 81-29, which is not a good record. So we'll see how he does this year.
Not by Scoop standards, no.
It sounds like
not
a good record,
standards.
but it's
not by his
record.
standards, no. All right, well, we'll see how Scoop does this year. We'll next week's show, of course, we'll give you Scoop's results and everything else, and you can see Scoop's picks as you can every year in Thursday's edition of the Butler Eagle Sports section. Scoop 6 will be in there. Before we get into our final segment, which we will close with every week talking about a sport other than high school football, do want to point out if you did not receive your Tuesday edition of the Butler Eagle, our high school football preview tabloid is in there, and so you can still get a copy of that after the fact. Make sure you pick one up, and of course, as is every Sunday edition of the Eagle, we will have plenty of high school coverage for you, high school football coverage. Our last segment, and we are running short of time, so we'll pick this up quickly. Girls soccer this year, guys. Last year, tremendous season. Knoch was the only school in our area that had a losing record. Mike, throw it to you. Your thoughts on girls soccer and why it's so strong in this area.
Girls soccer's always been strong in this county, and I don't see that changing. Kern City is always strong. Mars, of course, is a juggernaut. Seneca Valley is good. Butler's good. You could just go on and on and on. I think it's good because the feeder programs are good. These kids are playing at a younger age. They're having great coaching. They're learning these skills and mastering these skills at such a young age. By the time they get to high school, they are seasoned players. That coaches don't have to teach them fundamentals; they know it. And the club scene too. We have a robust club scene in this area. Blair Gerlach's club being one of them, where they get these kids and they just do a tremendous job getting these kids ready to play competitive soccer, not just the high school level. You see the names that go on to college. We have a ton of female soccer stars going on to college and playing well at the next level. I think those are the two factors that make soccer so strong in this county, especially on the girls' side, is because you got great coaching at the lower levels, great feeder programs, great club scene, very competitive girls coming up and playing, at a very high level at the high school level. And Mars, we were talking about this in the office about, the playoffs are going to be short, but I still wouldn't put it past Mars getting to the state title game and winning it again this year.
Yeah,
that's how good they are.
Yeah, college soccer coaches, they frequent this area quite a bit, and who can blame them? There was so much soccer talent down this way. Derek, you look at last year, Mars winning a Whitfield and state championship. North Catholic won a Whitfield championship, and I'm talking girls soccer here. Corn City, another District 9 title. I think that's 8 straight. They do it pretty much every year. Your thoughts on the powerhouses down here in that sport? It's just plentiful, and it seems to be year after year.
We talk a lot about the coaches, and don't get me wrong, we have some great soccer coaches. Specifically on the girls' side, you look at Tracy Daly's been up at Carn City now for a number of years. Of course, Blair Gerlach's been with the girls' program down at Mars for, I think this is his 14th season. Dave Sylvester, who used to coach Seneca Valley, when he leaves, who do they bring in but Mark Perry, who's a very accomplished coach on the girls' side in soccer. But the thing I think the key is, these girls, as Mike alluded to, they play outside of high school. So if you're a girl coming up and you have aspirations of playing and starting for a varsity high school team, that's the standard. You have to put that time in during the off season. Otherwise, you're going to sit the bench. If you want playing time, if you want to be scoring the goals or be one of those top defenders or whatever your position is, you have to put the time in the off season. So it's the continuation of players coming up to the varsity program with that type of experience. The younger girls see what they need to do, and they know if they don't do it, they're either going to have to find another sport or sit the bench. That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, a lot of pride in girls soccer in this region, and we've even had cases where former players from the county, high school players from the county, have come back to coach here. Sarah Sesser immediately comes to mind out at the Stiprock. What a program she's put together out there. So we look forward to more success that way, and we look to further to more success in high school football this season. That concludes our show for week 1. We will be back to review these games next week, as well as look further ahead. So we thank you for your time, and see you next week.